Today I'm going to address a very hot topic, and that is harmful chemicals that can be found in our foods and in our home. So I'm talking about trying to reduce the exposures to these harmful chemicals, and you'll have to forgive me because I'm wearing some new glasses, and they're my reading glasses, and I'm going to try to do my best to pronounce everything here. So the 10 categories of toxic chemicals are known to be especially prevalent, persistent, and detrimental to human and environmental health. Heavy metals, number one. Those heavy metals can be really cause a lot of mental health issues and a lot of trouble with thinking and focusing, and that is around lead, mercury, arsenic, cadmium, and aluminum. And we all know that mercury can be found in tuna and some of the fishes. And so that's always been known to be careful when you're pregnant, not to eat a lot of tuna. And you have to remember too, where that tuna is stored and, what kind of containers they come from, where it comes from in the processing. And like I said, with any storage of anything that you're dealing with. Mercury has also been found in teeth fillings. So many people are removing some of the old fillings that they've had. And remember, thermometers that we used to use for babies was filled with mercury. And some of those would break, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Arsenic. Arsenic can be naturally found in some of the rices, and brown rice or white rice. Suggestion for any of the rices that you buy at the store. Brown rice does break down a little bit longer. It's a complex carbohydrate. Both of them are complex carbohydrates, but if you, the white rice anything white tends to enter the blood sugar and bloodstream a little bit quicker. Milk and all those other things, those are white foods, some of the white flours, all that stuff. But anyway, let's get back to arsenic. You're trying to rinse off as much as you can, even though there is some in the rice. And I'm not sure if they spray rice paddy fields with arsenic or if it's in the soil, how that's all managed. And that is part of sourcing and how it's, how it's grown. Cadmium. Just recently I did a video on how they're finding high levels of cadmium in dark chocolate and specific dark chocolates. Just realize that your dose of what you eat, if you eat a ton of dark chocolate, you're going to have excesses in cadmium, and your body has to figure out what to do with all these excesses. And some of these heavy metals get distributed and sort of lodged into the body, and then causes some major issues with toxicity in the brain. Aluminum. Aluminum is something that we use every day, probably for cooking. I mean, ever since I knew, growing up, we always used aluminum foil, and all of the pans that we used had aluminum in them. And now we're finding that these exposures to aluminum, the aluminum cans, and many of the products that we use, even some of the topical products, also have aluminum in them and can be toxic to your babies. So, don't just think about, okay, this is okay, I can use this, blah, 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 blah. And then you find out down the road, little baby here, that you were cooking your foods in with foil packets, which we did a lot with scouting. I'm so sorry to say that, but we did that with not just scouting, but that was like one of the fun things that we did out on the grill. I mean, we'd cut up all of our food, put it in a packet, and put it on the grill. So over time, that does cause some issues, as well as those baked potatoes that we were eating. All right, now, this is called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. This is number 2. PAH is, I'm not sure exactly, but I'm going to say that I want you to think about anything that's aromatic and anything that gives off some aroma. Some of the candles that we use have hydrocarbons in them that could be dangerous for your health and for your children's health. You want to think about how really, you think about the lungs, and the lungs of any animal or any human. And, these are delicate areas, and they are delicate filters. Think of fish lungs, anything that is filtering what you're breathing. You want to take care of those and be supportive of your lungs and what they're exposed to. Now, we're going to go into plastics. That's number 3. All kinds of plastic bottles, all kinds of plastic containers, everything is marked now. And you want to do your best to be safe and use glass products as much as possible. But, thinking about all the phthalates that we're finding in all of our foods and our clothing and some of the other things that we use as products that we put on our body, you just have to be more aware, because our body is constantly working to stay safe, all right? And if you're complicating it, you're going to have some issues. Now, number 4 is phenols, particular bisphenal A, which is BPA. And you will see that marked on almost every product. This is BPA free, this, that, and the other. So you're making yourself aware of what these products are that could cause some major damage to not only your liver, your kidneys, your brain, but some of these things are surfacing more naturally because of everything that has been used. So now let's go to the organochloride pesticides, OCs. I am not sure exactly where these are found, and maybe you can help me. But I think that when you think about pesticides, there's 2 different kinds. There's the chloride and the phosphate, organophosphate pesticides. So you're talking about chloride and phosphate, and that goes back to the periodic table. So anything that you're overexposed to, and you want to think about why they're using these phosphates and these chlorides, and what's the benefit of using a pesticide for pests. Okay, so my rule of thumb always is to go 80-20 on organics, because it is going to be tough to go back to just complete organic food because of the pesticides or the pests that we find, the different types of pests that take over like a whole crop. So it's really tricky with this whole concept. You want to be more organic for the safety of yourself and your children, but you know that these were created for a reason. Okay, now, polychlorinated, dibenzo-dioxin, and furan. These are dioxins. Okay, so again, there's some polys, and then there's chlorinated, which is chloride, or chlorination is a process, and then dioxins. I'm not sure where these are all found, but we'll go forward and then we can find out. There's polychlorinated biphenals, PCBs, and all of the people out there that are very smart in all the chemistry worlds can help me with this stuff. But that's number 8. Number 9 is polybrominated diphenol, ethers. Okay, what do you think about when you think about ether? We're talking about some serious stuff here that can affect your brain, affect your body, and your mental health. Those are PBDEs. And then number 10 is polyfluorinated compounds, or PFCs. All right, so those are the top 10 categories of toxic chemicals. Now, what's not on this top 10 of toxic chemicals is sugar. And that's all I have to say right there about that. But anyway, this is what I have to say for you today. Be safe where you are. Please be aware of what you're surrounded with and what you put into your mouth. and then I'll get another video up for you to go over how to reduce the dietary exposures of some of these harmful chemicals. Diane Greco-Allen, Food Relationship Coach. Have a blessed day.